Okay, so today in algebra, we are doing order of operations, the order that you do stuff in. Because you can't just do it in any order you want. You feel like doing 2 plus 3 and getting 5? I do, but it's wrong. You can't do that. There is not a 5 in this answer. Why not? Because you have to do the parentheses first. So do you see what's in the parentheses? What's that make? 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So I cross this off. This is a time when you can be messy. So go ahead and write this problem down. 2 plus 3 parentheses 1 minus 1. Let's copy the problem down. And then cross this off and make it a 0. Now, this part is where a lot of people screw up. They know that they have to do parentheses first, so they do that. But then they just think, so now I'm going to go from left to right. No, you never go from left to right until you're down to only one thing left. So I'm going to rewrite this problem. 2 plus 3 times 0. Do you get that there's a plus and there's a times? You can't, just because this is sitting here begging to be added, you can't do that. There will never be a 5 in this answer. Because this has to get multiplied, and what's 3 times 0? 0. And then once 3 times 0 is done and you got 0 for it, now I got 2 plus 0, and that comes out to 2. Do you get there was never a 5, ever? So you can't just do it from left to right. All right, that is the number one rule for today. You got to do it in the right order. P stands for parentheses. Everybody write this PEMDAS thing on your paper. P-E-M-D-A-S. And next to P, put a little parentheses. If you want to write the word parentheses, that's cool. Exponents is the next one. So make a little like x to the second. You know those little raised up numbers? Those are exponents. Those always come second. Next is multiply. I would put a multiply sign by it. If you really want to get fancy, make it a dot. Because as you get higher level math, multiplies are just dots. True. 7.3 means 7 times 3. All right. Divide. Best divide sign is the old-fashioned one. It can be a fraction bar, but then it's going to look like a minus. So, and then add. And then take a wild guess what the last one is. Subtract. There we go. Now, this is the order, but there's still a little bit more to it. You can't just do it in this order. That sucks. I really wish you could. But you can't just say that multiply is always before divide. Those two are tied. How can you be tied with something? That means it's equally important. That's the only time you go from left to right, is if two things are equally important, then you pick whichever one's on the left. And it actually matters. You can't just do it both ways. Okay, especially on divide. Do you get, if I say 3 divided by 3, oh no, if I go backwards, it'll be the same thing. Wait a minute. 3 divided by 4, that's like 3/4, is not the same as 4 divided by 3. You can't just do it in either order you want. It's got to go left to right. Okay, anyway, so for instance, if you had 2 plus 3 minus 7, which one is on the left? 2 plus 3 or 3 minus 7? 2 plus 3. So this would have to go first. Why? Because plus and minus are tied. Just like multiply and divide are tied. So would you please circle them just like I did? That'll help you remember. It's not just because I want to be mean. When you write it down, you engage a different part of your brain, more likely to remember it. All right. So I'm going to go back to my original problem here and give you another one just like this. 6 minus 2, parentheses, 4 minus 3. And now you tell me, everybody write that down first. What should be first? And please, don't just go from left to right. I got a whole set of rules. CC, what do you think? Yep. That goes first, therefore. And what is that? 4 minus 3? That part's 1. And now should I just do the 6 minus 2? No, because it's 6 minus 2 times 1. Do you get why it's smart to rewrite it? Because then you can see what your two choices are. You got a choice of minus or times. All right. So in that whole please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which one should I circle again? They're tied with each other. MD and AS. Those are the ones that are tied. And therefore, only when I'm tied do I go from left to right. Are these tied with each other? No. One's a multiply, one's an add. Or add, subtract, sorry. So, parentheses. Am I done with it with parentheses? There's no more parentheses. Exponents. Do you see any exponents? I don't see any exponents. Multiply. Do I see any multiply? Oh, yes, there is. See how you just follow the list and then you go, okay, got to multiply next. So now it's 6 minus, what is that when you multiply it? 2. 2 times 1 is 2. I know some of you are really awful at your multiplication. That's okay. I get that. You do want to get better at it, though. Just like I'm a little bit overweight, I want to get better at that. It's not like I want to get worse at that. Okay, pretty soon won't fit through the door. So I want to get better at that, and I'm gonna. So I hope you guys, as you find out that, man, 7s are terrible for me, or whatever numbers are not good for you, I hope that you'll be willing to work at it. We're going to practice. Choose multiplication is, I know, you can do it in a calculator. I get you're going to have a calculator most of the time. But wouldn't you agree, if you have sitting at a board meeting, so you guys could someday be on the board at Apple Computer. One of you right now, honestly. The guy who started Apple Computer never even finished college. You don't have to be a genius in school to be on a board of a big company. But you have to at least be somewhat street smart. And do you get, if you're sitting at this board meeting and something comes up that's like 3 times 4 and the guy doesn't know how to do it, you're going to think a little less of him if he doesn't know how to multiply? It's true. If you haven't got those multiplication facts down, you're going to feel embarrassed about that. If it's 416 times 12, nobody's going to expect you to get that right. But if it's something like 4 times 3, and you're going, that's not going to be good. We need those base multiplication skills to be good. Yes, we're going to use calculators in this class. So I don't want you to think that there's going to be no calculators ever. But you can also be working on the side on multiplication and adding so that those two are solid. So when I say 3 plus 5, you're like, 8, boom, done. It shouldn't be, oh, let me grab my calculator. Okay? So we can do both. Because that's what happens in the real world. Hard problem, grab the calculator. Everybody does. Easy problem, like 6 minus 8, and you're going 6 minus 8. Wait a minute, isn't that negative? I'm not sure what it is. If everybody else is like can do it in their head, super simple, you want to be able to also. All right? Well, anyway, 6 minus 2 is 4, and we're done with that one. How many of you would agree that we got 4 for this one? Okay, cool. By the way, what is 6 minus 8? That's also one of the most important topics, is to be able to handle things when they go negative. It's negative 2. Very good. I want you to think of it this way. I do subtract them because there's a minus in between them. But it's more about what team they're on. Think of this as 6 on the positive team, because you get that 6 is positive. That minus, it's not on the 6. That minus is on the 8. So this is like 6 on the positive team. 4, 5, 6. And then 8 on the negative team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they go out onto the field and they're equally powerful, which side's going to win? The one that has more, right? So the negative team wins. Because every time a positive touches a negative, it neutralizes it, and then they both just disappear. Okay, and this positive and this negative cancel each other out, and this positive and this negative cancel each other out, and it keeps happening until there's only a few left. Let's see what happens when this final one, oopsie, this final one here cancels that one. Those are the only 2 left. And look, they're on the negative team, negative 2. That's a way to think of it. All right, so I want you to try this one. 7 minus 10. Don't say it, write it, and be careful with your negatives. And I want you to put a triangle around your answer. And then I want you to compare with the kid sitting next to you. And it's okay if you're different. You guys can argue about which one's right. Pause for a second. Let me give that a try. Okay, finish this one up. 7 minus 10 is, well, think of it this way. 7, little positive signs, and 10, negative signs. If they go out onto the field together and they have a big battle, there's more negatives, and so they're going to win. Each of the positives and negatives cancel each other off. This one cancels off this one, and this one will cancel off that one, and this one will cancel off that one, etc. until, I'm going to do 3 at a time because I'm a crazy person. These 3 with those 3, and what's left is there's 3 negatives. So this is negative 3. Okay, those are some very basics that I wanted to start with for today. Today's lesson is on order of operations, and we're just doing the first day of the worksheet. So, order of operations, day 1. Then we also did a little top 20 quiz in class, and if you missed today, you can take that top 20 quiz tomorrow. It's called the Basic 20 version 1. All right, so tonight's homework, if you missed for today, was that you should do the very first worksheet, order of operations, day 1, and you're only going to do problems 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 10, 13, 14, and that's it. And I'm posting a key for those online so that you should be able to look at the key to see some of the answers and make sure you're doing it right. All right, have a great day.